welcome back to another episode of the Below Bravo Show. Let's get right to it today because this love triangle just keeps getting better and better. First of all, I am sure you are loving it as much as I am that we're getting 2 episodes a week. It's a little overwhelming. It's a lot of content, but Mondays are like the best day ever, so can't complain there. I also love to kind of getting to see some of these storylines pan out with these different guests going from start to finish. I think the guests this season have been pretty tame, and so I'm really interested to see. We've already seen through the trailers and everything that things are about to get crazy coming up soon. But I want to talk through Gary, Daisy, and Colin and this love triangle and the new developments we saw this week. This week, we finally saw the epic, cringy moment where Daisy accidentally called Colin Gary in bed. I absolutely cannot think of something worse than this. And I did agree with Colin that she, didn't really take ownership for it. She just kept saying, y'all are both in my head. I get it. She's confused. She's being torn between the two. Gary this week has just been over the top aggressive towards her. If he tries to motorboat her one more time, I'm gonna barf. It's too much for television. I'm so sorry. I'm not a prude, but Gary, she's literally seeing somebody that you would consider your best friend, and you can't keep your hands off her now. And you're saying weird things to Mads about loving her and stuff and being really passive-aggressive to her. He's out of control. I think we're seeing a theme across a lot of Bravo shows right now where some of these guys are really hitting their midlife crisis. Their shows often started when they were in their 20s, and now you have people like Gary going through a little bit of a Peter Pan crisis. You've got obvious call-out Tom Sandoval, who is actually going through a midlife crisis. All he needs is a sports car, really, to seal the deal. And he's got other issues, as we all know. But that's for another episode. And even on Summer House, we see Kyle and Carl kind of going through the same thing with their careers. Again, I think, personally, the guys on Bravo really need to just be cut off after 40. I think it would spare us from people like Shep on Southern Charm. Anyways, back to Gary. He's falling apart, and it's getting a little embarrassing secondhand here. Can I just say I absolutely loved, though, that Colin called her a stage 5 idiot. It was a little harsh. He's not giving her a lot of grace for just being kind of torn between the two of them and her just trying to figure it out and keep the peace. But it's been really funny seeing a sassier, spicier side to Colin in the midst of this. I think he's absolutely right in, there are a lot of red flags. She's got to figure out what she wants. Gary needs to back off. But I also think, Colin's been clear with Gary and Daisy, hey, this is how I feel about you two. So the fact that they keep flirting in front of him is more Gary's fault, but also I think Daisy, she enjoys it. She's living it up, and like she said on Watch What Happens Live, she likes to make boys jealous, and from the looks of it and the show ratings, she's pretty good at it. What we're also starting to see here is Gary acting out this aggression about Daisy and Colin, and probably diverting it towards some other people that don't really deserve it. I don't think we've talked enough about the fact that he really has kind of let down his team. He really doesn't spend a lot of time with them. I know he's not the bosun, but he is the chief officer, and I think he really has avoided and ignored a lot of his key responsibilities. And then you start to see the way he's instigated and caused some drama between Chase and Alex. It's not really necessary. He's a little passive towards Alex bragging about Mads, even though Mads could care less about Gary and is totally into Alex. I think I'm a little confused by that whole boatmance because honestly, why not just go ahead and tell Gary, hey, not feeling it, I'm into Alex. It seems really simple. Maybe she's just trying to keep the peace a little bit and not cause even more issues with Gary. You can see him acting out when he called her pathetic this week. So, yeah, I think it's just time for Mads to come clean. Hey, she's got feelings for Alex. That's great. He's got feelings for her. They're pretty cute together. So maybe we just be honest and we let Gary act out however he's going to act out, because as you can see, whether or not you choose Alex or Gary, Gary is still going to act like a child in this scenario. I do think that Daisy and Colin are going to pan out. We know that they spent time together in California after the season wrapped. So I do think that they probably had a fling, and judging by her reactions and how kind she was speaking about Gary than Colin, I'm betting that things fizzled out after the show with her and Colin, as far as, you know, we know he's an adventurer, he's off sailing the world, really cool stuff, but, you know, it probably wasn't the ideal relationship scenario or environment to actually make a real relationship happen when they live such different lives outside of charter season. So I'm excited to see how this season wraps up. I'm getting really excited about Below Deck Down Under. I did a preview on that, and I have got some very exciting news. I am talking to several of your favorite Below Deck stars about doing some interviews coming up very soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you're the first to hear them and see what comes out next. All right, see ya.